Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Q here again from Paleo Farm, Long Island, MikeTheCaveman.com, and we have episode 236 of Ask Mike the Caveman. We're doing it again, as usual, Monday nights with Mike for our live stream Q&A here on Facebook. So shoot on in your questions, and we'll go and answer them quickly as we can. And rapid fire for the next, about half an hour is usually how we've been keeping this going. So I'll wait for you guys to pop on in for the questions to start rolling. I see I got a bunch of faces. I can't really see who's in it yet. No names really popped up. There's a little bit of a lag on the comments, but just put your questions on in, comment them on in, and we'll get this going. Thank you, Leon. How you doing, brother? You're handsome too. I appreciate it. But do you have a question? That's the bigger thing. So like we said, this is like our Monday night ritual, 8 o'clock. So if your first time here, essentially just for the last month and a half, I think we've been doing these, Monday nights to 8. These are our live stream Q&A. If you don't already know, every single day, though, I put out a video over on YouTube answering questions. You can submit them to me either by text, by email, through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. I don't really go on Twitter much, but it's there. But otherwise, you know, on these Monday nights, we do the live ones. That way we can really do rapid fire, a whole bunch of them. Hey, Tavana, what's up? I saw that you shared my picture from earlier. I truly appreciate that. Like I said, though, if you have any questions, throw it on. Here we go. Best natural pre-workouts, Leon wants to know. So, in terms of pre-workout, I'm not the biggest fan of stimulant pre-workouts, okay? Coffee, caffeine is a different animal. So, regarding that, what you're going to want to look at is over at Vitamin Shop, they have there's a off brand called True Athlete. It's like their secondary brand that's technically Vitamin Shop exclusive, but it's not the Body Tech or Vitamin Shop brand. They have their training formula. And I like that one a lot. It's basically just creatine, beta alanine. That one's pretty awesome. In other pre-workouts, a little bit of whey protein, a little bit of branched chain amino acids are good, as well as I like Keto OS if I'm really looking for the extra boost. So they're exogenous ketones. Essentially, you take coconut oil. Coconut oil goes through your liver and it gets processed into ketones. That's how they get preferentially used by the brain and muscles. Next step from there is MCT oil, okay? Because 15% of coconut oil is composed of those medium chain triglycerides, the MCT. Those MCTs get converted to ketones even faster. Exogenous ketones go one step past that. So if you're looking for that true super boost before a workout, great way to go. Hey, Ozzy. What's up, Michael? What's up, Rick? So, because I'm waiting for some more questions, we just covered one of the best natural pre-workouts, but any more questions, shoot them on in there. I know I'm on a little bit of a delay in terms of question to when I see it, but put it on in and we'll keep it rolling. But yeah, in terms of those pre-workouts, like I said, I like True Athlete's training formula. I like to use a little bit of coconut oil or MCT oil or exogenous ketones, and then either some branched chain amino acids and some whey. Covers pretty much all of your bases. The caffeine, coffee too, as I mentioned before. A little bit of caffeine from the coffee for slight stimulant benefit. The beta alanine gives you that little bit of the crawl under your skin that most pre-workouts are looking for, and then the branch chains make sure that the protein that's broken down during the workout gets replaced. So, those are awesome ideas there. All right, what other questions we got? Bueller. Favorite number, 1 to 10. Let's go. Everyone's, the easy answer, 7. Leon's keeping it rolling for us. Hey, Brian, what's up? So, like we said, a little bit quieter than normal. Throw your questions on in. Much respect for doing this, Mike. Hope to see you soon. God bounce. Absolutely, brother. I definitely need some of that coconut butter cup. Rick here commented, if you guys are not familiar with who he is, Eating Evolved, all right? If you guys, I did a video on what is like the best way to beat your sugar cravings in terms of like chocolate and stuff. Eating Evolved. If you guys are not familiar with them, go find them. If you have a Whole Foods near you, go to Whole Foods. If you don't have a Whole Foods near you, go to Wild by Nature. Okay? Eating Evolved is a game changer. I've known Rick and his girlfriend Christine, amazing, awesome people, Long Island company, and they're grassroots kids. I met them, they're kids. We met at Ancestral Health Symposium almost 5 years ago now. It's crazy to think how much time has flown. And at that point, they had bacon-wrapped truffles. And those are phenomenal. Now, their biggest products are coconut butter cups. They have a chocolate spread. They have a couple of different flavors on that. They have bars. They have a roasted coconut butter now. That's another thing they have. So if you want to have candy, make sure you go with Eating Evolved. Although their slogans, it's not candy, it's food. And I promise you, best chocolate you're ever going to have. So now that I got that commercial out of the way after Rick left, hopefully he watches the replay. I'll make sure to tag him and be like, yo, give you guys a shameless plug. But honestly, if you guys know me, and if you don't, the fact of the matter is, I don't promote or endorse anything I don't truly stand behind, and I'm telling you right now, those guys are amazing. Support, and by doing so, you're supporting a number of things. You're supporting local. They're a Long Island company. They're based out of East Talk. Their factory's there. I've been to it many times. I always feel like I'm going to visit Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But you're supporting local. They use the highest quality ingredients, and they're just great people. So, Eating Evolved. Go follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Over on Instagram, they always post different things. So, different, like when the new products launch and sales and giveaways, and just go follow them. Awesome stuff. And yes, I gave the Bueller earlier. Brianna. What's up, Larry? What's up, Money First? Okay. Leon said... Leon Anthony. Yeah, Leon. Sorry, brother. CLA, as in what? Conjugated linoleic acid, the basically workout supplement. Huge fan. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why grass-fed beef is super important versus grain-fed beef. So when we're talking about grass-fed versus grain-fed, the big difference is grain-fed beef is very high in omega-6. Now, omega-6s are thought of being pro-inflammatory. They're not inherently pro-inflammatory. They don't always cause inflammation. However, the imbalance of omega-3 to omega-6, that's where we start to see inflammation happening. That's why you're supposed to supplement with fish oil or eat fish, is because omega-3s need to be imbalanced. They used to be on a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 4-to-1, 6-to-3 ratio. Today, most Americans are between 20 to 30 parts of omega-6 to every 1 part of omega-3. That's why we need to supplement. So, grain-fed beef, super high in omega-6s. Grass-fed beef has much less omega-6, more omega-3. It's a decent source. It's not as good as fish, but it's a decent source of omega-3. But it's also an amazing source of CLA. In fact, it's one of the highest abundance of natural source of CLA. So CLA, for those unfamiliar, conjugated linoleic acid, I've talked about it a little bit before, but it is a naturally occurring trans fat. It's pretty much one of the only ones. And that's where, when people talk about the trans fats in meat, when vegetarians and vegans and whatnot talk about the trans fats, they're actually talking about CLA. They're talking about that conjugated linoleic acid. And in that case, it is incredibly beneficial. It's been documented to burn fat, build muscle, and it actually has anti-cancer. It's anti-carcinogenic. So CLA, great stuff. However, that being said, you generally don't need to supplement. Eat some grass-fed beef, full fat. So if we're talking about ground beef, I'm getting 80-20. If they have it, I'm getting 75-25. I'm getting the fattiest cut I can of grass-fed beef. If we're talking grain-fed, doesn't have as high amount, and in that point, I'm actually removing the fat. So the whole low-fat thing is only important if we're talking about BS animals. If we're talking about quality animals, get the fattiest cut you can. So, kind of a roundabout way of answering that question, Leon, but essentially, CLA, yay. All right. Anything we can do to support respiratory health in a small child who seems to be having recurring pneumonia. Awesome. Well, great. Awesome question, not awesome issue, obviously. Let's be very clear on that. So, regarding things we can do to support that. And as we see, Joe just jumped on. What's up, Joe? Tavon, I'm sure you're already doing Megaspore with the child. If not, I would definitely consider that in terms of respiratory. That's pretty straightforward. Why? I would consider half cap to a capsule of Fibrenza as well. How you doing, brother? I would consider the Fibrenza as well. The C-Pros, the enzyme that's in it, well, one of the many enzymes that are in the Fibrenza, is one of the leading treatments, therapies in Japan for respiratory conditions. Everything from cystic fibrosis, which technically isn't respiratory in and of itself, but has respiratory effects. You know what I mean? Asthma, allergies, lung cancer. They use it for pretty much all lung-related issues, all respiratory health issues. So the C-Pros in there, incredible expectorant, and can actually help to break that down. From there, if you're not familiar with it, in terms of respiratory health, go on over to Amazon and look up Clear Lungs. It's by Ridgecrest Herbal, and I really shouldn't mention it because they sell out on Amazon a lot, and my mom lives on that. But Ridgecrest Herbal's Clear Lungs are one of the greatest lung supports you're ever going to see. You can literally notice you're breathing better within like a couple minutes. It's an incredible product. It's not terribly priced, depending on how much supply and demand we're looking at. It actually does fluctuate on Amazon based on when the supply is running short. If you see it starting to hit towards $30, like on that end for a bottle, it means they're going to be running out soon. If you see it on like the low end, like 18 to 20, it means they're well stocked and buy up. I usually buy like 6 or 7 bottles at a clip then, just because I know that it's going to sell out soon. So Ridgecrest Herbal's Clear Lungs, pretty straightforward. Clear Lungs. So Megaspore, Fibrenza, Clear Lungs. That's where I'd go there. How young for one Megastore? I don't know. You have to ask Walmart. Oh, Megaspore, you mean? Sorry. Honestly, I don't see there really being an age issue with that. I would totally just start at a smaller dosage, but I really don't see there being an age limit. Probiotics. If I have, well, I'm not actually going to have the baby, but if at some point in the future my child has to be born by C-section, probably having them on some type of probiotic at birth. So I'm basically going to, there's actually been some interesting research about providing, generally in the form of like yogurt and kefirs and things, but providing probiotics pretty much at birth immediately following C-sections. And there's been follow-ups, and there's been incredible reductions in asthma and allergies in those 5-year follow-ups. It's relatively new research coming out, but I really think that's the future, because as you know, maybe don't, but if you've been watching this channel, you probably should. You get your initial microbiome exposure from mom. Mom provides, both through vaginal birth and through breastfeeding, your initial microbiome. And as such, C-section birth and no breastfeeding, bad news for your microbiome long term. And that is a major component to our current asthma and autoimmune crisis. The fact of the matter is that we just don't pass, or again, not me, it's a very collective we when I'm saying that, but as a culture, mothers, for one reason or another, don't necessarily get to do that, whether they're not having enough production because they're not eating right themselves, they're overly stressed, or same thing during the labor, for one reason or another, complications, whatever. This is very clear. It's not a moral judgment as to why I was a C-section birth and whatever. You know, sometimes you have to have it in order for the mother's safety, and I'm totally cool with that. But for long-term health, it's not as good. So the fact of the matter is, C-sections have become increasingly more common, and as such, the initial microbiome, the initial development of infants' microbiomes is insufficient in a lot of cases, and as such, we need some way to redevelop it. So, like I said, those probiotic studies have been pretty interesting in terms of initial inoculation in these C-section children, and we've been seeing great results with that. The research is showing great results. So, honestly, you maybe start like half caps, quarter caps, sprinkle a little bit of it into their food. But you can start them pretty darn young. I don't see any issues with it. Now, obviously, just for legal purposes, very clear on this. This is not medical advice, so we know. Got it. All right. Tavana, following up on the question before, says, it's not my daughter, but I will share the information. Absolutely. So, yeah. So, if they don't know, Megaspore, Vibrenza, clear lungs, definitely. If you're not familiar with my story, I actually, as a child, I had asthma so bad that 7 different pediatricians misdiagnosed me with cystic fibrosis. And fortunately, the last one actually got it right. And it was just ridiculously bad asthma. And my father treated me with herbs when I was a kid, and not necessarily the clear lungs in and of itself. I don't even think that was around when I was a kid yet. But a lot of the herbs that are in it were things we used, and actually, funny enough, ephedra was like a lifesaver. And I did an article over at Rebel Health Tribe for Joe and Mike about why safe and effective herbs are banned. And ephedra was one of them. Ephedra, kratom, and cannabis. And the case of ephedra has literally saved my life on numerous occasions. And if we're talking respiratory issues, probably right up there with with that clear lungs. In terms of clear lungs, obviously is available now. The ephedra though is phenomenal. The fact that it's hard to come by now is terrible. It's just not right. So, in terms of immediate, particularly asthma, definitely ephedra if you can get your hands on it. But again, I didn't say that. Leon says, "Say handsome." I appreciate it, brother. Brianna says, "Autocorrect." Yeah, I know. Did that answer your question regarding the Megaspore from before? That long tangential discussion. As I sip my drink. And do you have any other questions? A little bit of a delay in terms of a slow night. People don't like me anymore. So, okay, go on. What do you got for me? So, all right. While we're waiting for some more questions, I'll recap some of the things we did over the last week. I did see, you need to work on your autocorrect, but yes. Okay, cool. So yesterday we did the tap water issue. So there's been some concern about carcinogens found in the water regarding. The EPA found potential carcinogens, and the issue with that is the amounts they found. Could it be a problem? Yeah, it actually could, in conjunction with a lot of other issues. I definitely recommend checking that one out. The idea overall is that, is the water going to give you cancer? Probably not. But in conjunction with a poor diet and EMF exposure and infectious exposure, etc., no good. Similar concept to Nutella. Is Nutella going to give you cancer in isolation? Probably not, but why the hell are you eating Nutella in the first place? I don't know. Just go on to So, those are some of the other ones we did there. I'll give a couple more minutes, see if we got any more questions, but how do you feel about fluoride supplements in infants? As in purposefully supplementing with fluoride, or the fact that they have fluoride in the supplements? So follow up. Give me the follow up to that, Brianna, in terms of whether you mean it being in them or actually supplementing with it. Because I'm talking about supplementing with it. Yeah. So if it's secondary, if it's in the supplement, not a fan. I'm not a fan of fluoride. Period. The biggest reason being is that it's going to go into the same channels as a lot of your other minerals. It's going to compete. So purposely for fluoride deposits in teeth. Yeah. The fact that the fluoridated water and the fluoride being added to supplements and stuff, and being added to teeth products and stuff, it's no good. It's going to compete with other essential minerals, and it's going to get absorbed, and it's going to cause a problem. That's actually a good topic. I should do that one some point this week. So, fluoride in the water, again, it's one of those kind of like the other carcinogens in the water. The fluoride in the water, in and of itself, is it enough to be a problem? Probably not. Things in isolation, each individual thing by itself, probably not going to be a problem. But it's a matter of combining the chemicals that are in the supplements, chemicals that are in your skin products, the chemicals that are in the water, the chemicals that are in the air, the EMF frequency, which, again, that's one of those ones. That and the microbiome, those two, I think, are going to explode over the next 10, 20 years because we're finally starting to appreciate how much effects they actually have on the body. So, Michael uses a big Berkeley to remove it. Now, see, the Berkeley, what mechanism does that work by? 'Cause I have a reverse osmosis filter and removes pretty much everything. However, there is, and I know you're a chemistry guy too, so you'll be able to appreciate this, 1,4-dioxane. Okay, that was commonly found in water here on Long Island, and the problem with it is practically nothing removes it. In order to actually remove it from water, you need to apply peroxides and then apply UV light. That finally allows it to be broken down into smaller acyl groups. But and Michael's probably the only one who knows what the hell an acyl group is, but whatever. Until that point, nothing really breaks it down. It doesn't get caught by carbon filters, which catch practically everything. It doesn't get digested by resident microbes. It can't break it down. You need UV light and peroxide. It's a pretty gnarly thing. But yeah, let me know what mechanism the Berkeley filter uses. Tavana says, do you think that Fibrenza will work for keratosis pilaris? And how much Fibrenza will be okay for a 50-pound child? Again, gotta be clear out the gate. You know the deal. Not medical advice here. For a 50-pound child, though, personally, again, if it was my child, probably say 1 capsule would be fine. They shouldn't have a problem. If you're truly concerned, like really, start a half capsule. You know, I start a half capsule, then probably go up to a full capsule. I wouldn't go past 2 at all. Like, I probably would stay at 1, honestly, because general dosing for children, for adults is 2 capsules for just general maintenance, 3 capsules for more intense things, and 4 for ridiculous conditions, things like cancer. Regarding keratosis pilaris, is that like a hardening of the skin? Is it like a skin condition? I honestly don't know off the top of my head what the keratosis, but look, just kind of reading what it sounds like. It sounds like keratin, like inflammation of the keratin. Well, not inflammation, it's uveitis. It sounds like a hardening of the skin. Is it like a rash, or what exactly is that? If you can follow me up on that. Okay. Any difference? So keratin bump. Okay, so bumps on the skin. That makes sense. So essentially like a rash going on from keratin. So yeah, I believe that Fibrenza would work with that. The fact that Fibrenza is able to break down fibrin, so those proteolytic enzymes should be able to break through the protein of the keratin. Absolutely. I don't see why it shouldn't. In terms of actual work and knowledge of doing that, you know, obviously I didn't know exactly what it was off the top of my head anyway. But in terms of mechanism, I can see that working. Give me, 20 minutes, half an hour. I'll look a little more into the system itself, and I would definitely believe so. I'm pretty confident on that. I'll look into the mechanism of how keratosis pilaris works exactly, but in terms of if it's keratin growths on the skin, yeah, it should definitely work. I'd be very confident about that working. Sandro, any difference between CBD from hemp or cannabis? In terms of what it does to your body and in terms of how it affects it and the chemical, actually the structure of the chemical, absolutely zero. In terms of legality, hemp is legal, cannabis is not. Cannabis and hemp are the exact same plant. The big difference is the amount of THC that you find in it. So cannabis has more than 0.3% THC, whereas hemp, industrial hemp, legally in the United States has less than 0.3% THC, whereas in the European Union, so in Europe, it's less than 0.2% THC. So if there is THC being found, it's marijuana technically. If there's less, there's trace amounts of THC, that less than 0.3%, then it is hemp. So whether it gets you high or not is the big distinction. The CBD is one of the non-psychoactive alkaloids, and as such has no effect over you long term. So has no, in short term, it doesn't have any kind of psychoactive effects, and as such, that's why it's legal for now. So I did that the other day as well in terms of what's the future of CBD, and honestly, the DEA, what they did, there's no backing to it. They have no recourse for it. So I'm very confident that we're going to win this one. But that comes with a huge caveat that that the DEA and the government, Big Pharma, have a very good stranglehold over the government, and as such, it is really in the air. We'll have to see how it plays out, but if they do try to push forward with it, I don't see them winning. They lost once before, back in 2003, when industrial hemp was first being allowed to get grown here in the United States, and they got turned away there. They basically, like hemp oils and things like that, they were trying to crack down on that, which, seriously, but they lost. They got sued and they lost back in 2003. 14 years later, they're trying again. Depends on how much lobbying there is. The medical cannabis lobby is pretty large now too, so hopefully that plus grassroots supports from people like us really putting their foot down, saying, no, you cannot take this. That was the problem. It worked for Kratom a couple months ago. Unfortunately for Ephedra, it didn't work. There wasn't enough of a push, and there wasn't as strong of a grassroots movement. But in terms of this, we'll see. What's up, Daniela? What's up, Brittany? How you guys doing? Michael, new attorney general is against it, but not sure where Trump stands. Honestly, I know everybody's been super concerned about the cabinet picks, and let's be very clear, I'm not going anywhere near political on this one, but some of the picks, like in terms of the vaccine council guy that he picked, I'm very happy about that, because I've done the video on vaccines. I'm not inherently anti-vaccination. I want there to be more understanding about how it works, huh? Yes, grassroots. I want there to be an understanding of, again, water, carcinogens in water, in isolation. Is it going to be a problem? No. The things being added to those vaccines, are they going to be a problem in isolation? Probably not. But multiple vaccinations plus the chemicals inside of it all at once, it's not where we're at right now. And plus the actual method of transmission. When else do you have a virus entering directly into your bloodstream? It's not a normal transmission. If and when we can get spore-based vaccines, I will totally stand behind vaccines. Probably. Depending on how they're being administered then too. But if we can get spore-based bacteria, vector them, so basically inject the vaccine, the virus, into those bacteria, then they're actually going to be able to travel down into the gut, into our gut-associated lymphoid tissue, so the immune system. They're going to actually get to where they normally were supposed to. Because where do we have bacterial, fungal, viral exposure? We get through the respiratory tract, and we get through the digestive tract. If it didn't go through there, your body sees it as a foreign invader, and it says, what is that? So that's where the idea of the vaccine is good. So going back to that, because we kind of veered way off on this one. In terms of the vaccine appointment, I like that guy. In terms of the attorney general, that's where it gets a little squirrely. Trump, having been New York based long time, honestly, I don't think he probably really cares too much about cannabis in terms of banning it. Right now, he's very much sways the way the popular opinion goes, and if enough people are very pro it, I don't see us losing it. So we really need to have those grassroots, as we said here, movement. We need to push back and say, no, that is it. Period. We need this stuff. CBD is changing people's lives. You watch the videos for on epilepsy, watch the videos for on cancer, watch the videos for it on in terms of neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia in general, just generalized dementia. It is incredible stuff. It saves lives. So it's insane. You know, here on Long Island, huge heroin epidemic, painkiller epidemic. We need alternatives, and CBD is a major one. So the fact that it's even considered being made illegal is just not okay. Hey Kim, hey Nancy, how you guys doing? So yeah, let's try and get, you know, any more, like 1 or 2 more questions. Let's try and close it out. But you guys had some awesome ones here today. Hopefully they helped you out with what we had. But in terms of other thoughts, any other questions, you know where to reach me. Over here on my Facebook page here, over on Paleo Problem Long Island, over on Instagram and Twitter at Mike the Caveman, over on YouTube, Mike the Caveman is the channel. Again, as you know, or if you didn't, now you do. Every single day for the last 236 days, I have put out a video, or these Monday nights with Mike, we do our live stream Q&A, so you can come ask me questions live, keep it rolling. That way we can bang out 5, 20, 10, 20 questions in half an hour and really get them rolling, get a little more people involved, and we can bounce questions off each other. Either way, though, would love for you to head on over to the YouTube and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, love you already, but would truly appreciate it. Checking out those videos. Make sure you send in the questions, get them to me somehow, whether it's, again, directly on here, text me, email me, get a hold of me, post it somewhere. People often will share articles to my timeline, and then I'll build off of that. I've been doing that a lot lately, where they'll share either an article from Newsday or this or whatever, and we build off of that. So just get your questions to me, I want to have the content, I want to be able to help you out. And if you want to work with me or anything, same thing, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for, try and help people. That's what it is. But everybody that came on tonight, thank you so much for joining me live. If you're watching the replay, I don't know why the hell you made this far. Hoping that I said some other crap afterwards. But that being said, guys, look, there's no more questions. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow.